السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله أوقاتكم بكل خير أيها الأعزاء المشاهدين ومشاهدات قناة عمان الثقافية. نرحب بكم اليوم في درس جديد من دروس برنامج على الهواء. So inshallah today we are going to cover Unit 3 and Unit 4 from theme number 4. So inshallah in this lesson you will review the past passive form. We will do one activity on that because our colleague has run of time last session, and inshallah you will be able to discuss the inventions which are most helpful and harmful. Thirdly, you will be able to use reductions skills with understanding listening text. So let's start with passive voice and focus here, because later on inshallah we will move on Nearbud website, and I hope you are ready with your mobile phones and your laptops. So passive here we have two types of sentences. All right, we have active voice and we have passive voice. All right, so what do we mean by active voice? Active voice focuses on the subject, care more about the subject. But what about passive voice? Here we care more about the object. Okay, the most important thing we care about is object. So let's take an example with active voice or active sentence. So here let's say Ahmed opened the door. All right, and let's analyze it now. So Ahmed is subject, right? Opened is verb. The door is object. So who can tell me what is the rule now? All right, the rule is subject plus verb, of course in the past tense, and the door. Sorry, here object. So this is the rule. This is the rule for the active sentences. All right, what do we have to do with the passive voice? As we said, passive voice focuses more on object. He cares more about the object. We don't care about the subject. We don't care about the one who did the action. So it will be like this. The object will be the first thing at the beginning of the sentence, and the subject will be at the end of the subject of the sentence. All right. So if we want to switch this active sentence to a passive sentence, and focus with me here, I will start with the object. I will say here the door. After that, I will use one of the verbs to be, was or were. So I have a singular object here. I will use was. After that, I will write the verb opened. If you stopped here, the sentence is correct. The door was opened. خلاص. If you want to mention the subject, you write by. After that, you write the agent or the subject by Ahmed. All right. So here is the sentence in passive voice. Let's figure it out, or let's analyze the sentence. So the door is object, was is verb to be in the past tense. Opened, it is not in the past tense, it is in the past participle, the third column of the verbs. By, it's a block, and Ahmed is the subject. All right. So here is the rule of passive voice: object plus verb to be, was or were. After that, the main verb, and which should be in past participle form, by, and then you write the subject. Don't worry, we will do some exercises now. I hope you understood the rule. So let's go here. In your course book, activity number 3, we have some sentences which are in active voice, active sentences. We want to switch them into passive voice. So let's analyze. Before we do, let's analyze the sentence. So Tim Berners-Lee is a noun or a name, so it is a subject, right? Invented, verb. The World Wide Web, object. All right. Now, what is the rule? Here is the rule: object plus verb to be plus the main verb plus by plus subject. All right. This is the rule. So what will I start with? With the object, the word, and it will be the capital here, the world wide, web. This is one object, so I will write was. I will write the verb invented, and in the past participle form, by, because I want to mention the subject, by Tim Berners-Lee. You write the name. You got me? All right. Let's do the second one. The Russians, subject, sent, verb, the first satellite into space, object. All right. So what will I start with? The first satellite. Okay. This is one object, but I will write was. Okay. The verb sent. Alas, we are done with this one. Was sent into space. All right. And I will write the subject now, by the Russian. Don't complicate yourself. This is the simple rule of passive voice, and you go with it. You analyze the active sentence, you switch it to voice, to the passive voice, and you are all good. All right, we have an iceberg sank the Titanic. So the Titanic was sunk, blue, with you here, because it is in the past participle, by an iceberg. Marie Curie discovered radium. So radium was discovered by Marie Curie. Ustad Ahmed Lahori designed the Taj Mahal. This is the object. Taj Mahal was designed by Ustad Ahmed Lahori, and so on. So I want you to take a picture of the answers here as you see them. Number 6, dynamite was invented by Alfred Nobel. and their Alfred Nobel invented dynamite. Okay, potatoes were first grown by South American and so on. So take a screenshot with these answers, and inshallah later on we'll go, you will check it by yourself. Now let's go to our website, which is Nerbud, and this is the code. I want you to join me in the lesson. So this is the code 2I7RA, as you see on the screen. I hope you'll join me in the lesson. So I have some activities there. Waiting for you guys if somebody is coming. Yeah, Ritad is the first one. Let's wait a little bit. This is the code here, 2I7RA. Yeah, all right, Dexter. Come on, guys. All right, while you are joining, we will start. Now let's move to unit number 3. And unit number 3, there is the best and the worst inventions. And you know, the best comes from adjective, comes from good, better, and best. Also, the worst comes from bad, worse, worst. And you know this. Just I want to remind you of the comparative and superlative adjectives. All right. So now let's start. We are, as you see in your textbook and in your course book, the writer there, based on his opinion, he listed the most harmful and the most helpful inventions in the world. So before we go to there, I want you to share your ideas with me. What is the best and the worst inventions in the world from your point of view? All right? You can now write them here, so we'll discuss them together. Let's brainstorm together. Hi, Zakaria. Zakaria, write the most helpful and harmful inventions in the world from your point of view. So, and you write plus for the good ones and minus for the bad ones. So many. All right. What else we have? The best is phone, Osama, internet, Yusuf, Muhanna Al-Adawi. Bravo, guys. The internet, good. The best invention in the world, light bulb, Muhanna says. Wasan, the best one is phone. All right. Osama, of course, the worst one, weapons. You have phone. Huda, all right. Cars. Isra, bravo, Isra. Ritaj, the flashlight. Abdulaziz, internet. And the bad one is smartwatch. Okay. Yahya, nuclear weapons. Bravo. Riyadh, black web. Good. Dynamite. Muhammad, phone, social media. All right, you have plenty of ideas here. So these ideas are from your point of view, which invention is good in our life and which one is not a good. Bravo. Let's go to the text now. So the writer here based or listed the most helpful ones and also listed the most harmful inventions in the world. So he chose paper. He talked about, if you can see the text in your course book, he talked about the writing system and the papers, so we can write them. Why you are not green? I don't know. All right. Maybe you exceeded the limit. Also, he mentioned the medicines as helpful inventions. He mentioned the money and the wheel because it depends more on the transportations. About the worst inventions, he chose cars, cigarettes first, and based on some statistics, cigarettes, then the cars, which are killing people in traffic accidents. After that, he chose the guns and the nuclear weapons, as you see in your course book. All right, so anyone has the right to choose which is the helpful for him and the bad for him. All right, we have an activity, vocabulary activity here in your workbook. Let's move to your workbook. And we have an activity, online activity here in the program. I want you to match the word which is with its definition. And you have like 3 minutes to do it all. So let's start. And after that, we will show the results and the answers. Time is clicking and you are doing the exercise. Do your best, guys. Come on. So much. Leia, Yusuf. Come on, guys. Choose. You have numbers and you have letters there. You match the number with the letter. You match the number with the letter. Shahad, 5 out of 10. Okay, I will wait you till the time finish. You are doing a lot of tries, just you answer the or you match them. Bravo, Yusuf. 45 try. Amna, 7 out of 10, all right. 1 minute left. Shahad, 10 out of 10, bravo. All right. Safa, 10 out of 10. Muhammad, 10 out of 10. Yusuf, 10 out of 10. Okay. دعاء. Bravo guys. روضة. رؤى. صفاء. إسراء. And the time is done. So these are the answers. Say is I, number one is I. You write them in your workbook. Say, the answer is I, which is a short piece of writing about a subject or a topic. Number two, improved. It is J, made better. Number three, system, and it's a group of things that work together. All right. Number four, related, connected, or linked, which is A. Number five goes to H, allowed, made something possible. Number six, technology, goes to B, advanced scientific knowledge or equipment. Number seven, according to, goes to E, this was said by. All right. Number eight, global warming, and it goes to D, general increase in world temperature. Number nine, reported, gave information. It goes to C, gave information about something. All right. Number 10, nuclear weapons, which goes to F, bombs made with energy from the central part of atoms. All right, guys. I hope you have copied the answers in your workbook. So let's go here now in activity number 2, and let's write the nouns, the verbs, and adjectives with adverbs also. So let me go back here so I can write on them. If you want to take a screenshot of the answers of the previous activity, here are the answers. Now let's go here. Now we have, sometimes we have nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs comes from the same word. We just add some suffixes to the word and become something, another part of speech. So, for example, we have here inventive as an adjective. Okay, and how we make it a noun? We will write invention, and you know this suffix is always related to nouns when you make nouns. Okay, what about the verb? I will write invent. This is the verb. So I have inventions, invent, inventive, inventively. As the adverb, I just add ly to the word. Okay, number 2, I have innovate. What is the noun? Let's see, innovation. I will add the this suffix shin to make it noun, innovation, then innovate, and the adjective will be, I will add the ive as a suffix. It will become innovative. So I added this suffix ive because this comes by memorization. You have to memorize which suffix you can add in order to change it to a part of speech. All right, we have the word harm here, and you know the meaning of harm. Also, the noun will be harm, verb harm, adjective will be harmful. All right, this is another type of suffix. Okay, what about the adverb? as I say, I add harmful and then I add ly. It will become like this, harmfully. All right. I have the word help here, and also the verb will be help. This is from the same family. Help, help, and the adjective will be, who can predict? Helpful. And here the adverb becomes helpfully. All right. Improved. Another suffix also will be added to a word to change it to another part of speech. So I have improved here, and you know the meaning of improve. And the noun will be what? Improvement. Improvement. So this is the suffix which make it a noun. And the verb will be improve only. Systematically, what is the noun? System. And the adjective is systematic. Okay, I have the word convenient, and you know the meaning of convenient. If you don't know these or some of these vocab, you can check your dictionaries, because we have another fill-in-blanks activity later on, and it will be on Nearbot. Also, we have convenient here. Okay, convenience, sorry, with CE, convenient, and the we don't have verb for this one. And here we'll have convenience, conveniently, ly. Design or designer can both be nouns, also as a verb. It will be a design. So there is no adjective for design or no adverb for design. All right, guys, take a screenshot of these answers. These are the answers also typed, if my handwriting is not clear. All right. Let's go back to our Nearbot now and do the activity. I hope you are back. Come back, guys. So this is the activity. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate forms of the words in the completed table in activity number 2. So if you know the meaning of that vocabulary well, you will answer this activity easily. Put one word in each gap. So let's move to the activity now, and I will give you a chance to do it together. All right, let's go. You have the activity now. After you finish, click on submit. After you finish, click on submit. Hello guys, let's do it. Very easy task. We're waiting for your impressive answers. I'll give you 2 minutes for this one. Two minutes is too much for it. But yalla, you can do it. Click on submit. Click on submit. So the first one says cigarettes cigarette smoking is very dash to your health. What will be the most appropriate word for that? Number 2, the telephone is very or is a very important what? Also, if you want to your vocabulary skills, you need to read a lot. Number 4, the Arabic writing dash uses an alphabet with 28 letters. Number 5, the bank is conveniently located in the shopping mall. An architect's job, number 6, is to design buildings. Number 7, can you help me? I'm looking, sorry, I answered, can you dash me? I'm looking for the road to Nizwa. Number 8, the new manager has some very dash plans for the company. Nobody has tried them before. So I think there is a problem with your submissions. I will show you the answers. All right, these are the answers. Try to copy them or take screenshot. So the first one is harmful. Cigarette smoking is very harmful to your health. Telephone is a very important invention. Number 3, if you want to improve your vocabulary skills, you need to read a lot. Number 4, the Arabic writing system, it's a system, uses an alphabet with 28 letters. Number 5, the bank is conveniently located in the shopping mall. Number 6, an architect's job is design buildings or is to design buildings. Number 7, can you help me? I'm looking for the road to Nizwa. Number 8, the new manager has some very innovative plans for the company. Nobody has tried them before. All right, now let's move to Unit 4, which is virtual reality. What do we mean by virtual reality? If I said VR, any idea will come to your mind? VR, the VR, what will come to your mind? Okay, we will know exactly what is virtual reality after we listen to the listening. But before that, let me talk about the indirect questions here. We have direct and indirect questions. What is the difference between direct and the indirect question? Of course, the direct questions is the ones that you know. What is your name? What is, for example, virtual reality? When virtual reality began, and so on. So these are called direct. But when I add to them, for example, can you tell us what virtual reality is? So this is a question with a statement. This is a question with a statement. It becomes indirect. A question, we call it indirect question. Do you know when virtual reality began? If you ask it without do you know, it will become direct question. Can you explain? Could you give some examples? Would you explain using the models, making it indirect questions? Do you have any idea? And so on. So now we'll go to your workbook. There is an interview here in this activity, activity number 1, and there are 6 questions are asked. I want you to catch the answers from the listening. Before you start the listening, I want you to make an image in your mind about the script or the questions which are written there. Try to predict what will be or the possible answers. First of all, you read the questions carefully. For example, can you tell us what virtual reality is? So I'm looking for a definition here. So do you think or do you know when virtual reality began? So I have when here, so I'm looking for a time. So you make your mind ready to catch the answers. Can you explain what the first virtual reality displays were? Could you give some examples of how virtual reality is used? For example, here I have a keyword. For example, when I catch the word, for example, immediately the answer will be there. Okay. Would you explain some of the limitation of virtual reality? So I have a keyword which is limitation. After you hear that one, you'll be ready for that question or for that answer. And also the last one, do you have any idea what virtual reality will be like in the future? And you have future as a keyword, and after that you will get the answer. So let's go back to the listening script and then we'll answer together. All right?
Listening 4.4.2.
Good afternoon and welcome to our radio show, Tech.
Working with you behind the screen, and also it will work with you in your laptops and in your mobile phones.
News. Today, our guest speaker is virtual reality expert Cindy Jones. Thank you for coming on the show, Cindy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us what virtual reality is?
Yes, it's a computer environment which looks like a real environment. The person using virtual reality can interact with it.
Do you know when virtual reality began?
The first computers didn't have screens, so we can say that the idea came in the 1950s, when someone suggested connecting a screen or monitor to a computer.
Can you explain what the first virtual reality displays were?
Some people say that the first virtual reality displays were radar screens. These were used in places like airports by air traffic controllers to guide planes.
Could you give some examples of how virtual reality is used today?
It's used for many things. Apart from computer games, it's used in education and training, for example, to train pilots and doctors. It's also used for designing buildings and cars and many other things.
Would you explain some of the limitations of virtual reality?
One limitation is that the images are more like cartoons than real life. This is mainly because computers are not powerful enough to make the displays more realistic. Another limitation is that the experience is limited to audio and visual.
Do you have any idea what virtual reality will be like in the future?
I'm sure that the images will be more realistic and move faster. There will probably also be a sense of touch and smell in future virtual reality.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much for talking to us today, Cindy.
It was a pleasure.
All right. I'm not sure if you heard the voice behind the screen, so just let me use this activity in order to give you a chance to say yes or no if you have heard the listening script. Say yes or no if you can do the listening by yourself or you cannot hear it. Yes or no? What about this one? All right, let's play it again, and then I will give you the answers. You will hear it in your devices. Just focus.
Listening.
Now it's working.
4.4.2.
Director.
Good afternoon and welcome to our radio show, Tech News. Today, our guest speaker is virtual reality expert Cindy Jones.
All right.
Thank you for coming on the show, Cindy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us what virtual reality is?
Yes, it's a computer environment which looks like a real environment. The person using virtual reality can interact with it.
Do you know when virtual reality began?
The first computers didn't have screens, so we can say that the idea came in the 1950s, when someone suggested connecting a screen or monitor to a computer.
Can you explain what the first virtual reality displays were?
Some people say that the first virtual reality displays were radar screens. These were used in places like airports by air traffic controllers to guide planes.
Could you give some examples of how virtual reality is used today?
It's used for many things. Apart from computer games, it's used in education and training, for example, to train pilots and doctors. It's also used for designing buildings and cars and many other things.
Would you explain some of the limitations of virtual reality?
One limitation is that the images are more like cartoons than real life. This is mainly because computers are not powerful enough to make the displays more realistic. Another limitation is that the experience is limited to audio and visual.
Do you have any idea what virtual reality will be like in the future?
I'm sure that the images will be more realistic and move faster. There will probably also be a sense of touch and smell in future virtual reality.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much for talking to us today, Cindy.
It was a pleasure.
All right, so what is the answer for question number 1? Can you tell us what virtual reality is? The answer, you have to write them by yourself. Now I will tell you the answer orally. A computer environment which looks like a real environment. So virtual reality is a computer environment. Do you know, number 2, question number 2, do you know when virtual reality began? Let's say in 1950s. Okay, number 3, can you explain what the first virtual reality displays were? They were radars screen. The answer is radars screen. Number 4, could you give some examples how virtual reality is used? For computer games and video games. I think you know them. The PlayStation, for example, it has a virtual reality and it is developing from, for example, if we say PlayStation 1 is, or PlayStation 5 is better than PlayStation 4 in the virtual reality, in the graphics. So this is the virtual reality. Also, it's used for education, for example, to train doctors and pilots. All right. Number 5, would you explain some of the limitations of virtual reality? And you know the meaning of limitation. So it's all more like cartoons, not like the real life. And also the experience is limited to audio and visual only. There is no touch, there is no smell, for example. Number 6, do you have any idea what virtual reality will be like in the future? It will be more realistic. The answer, it will be more realistic. So, by the end of this activity, we have reached to the end of our lesson today. Thank you very much for your interaction. Thank you very much for your interaction, as I said, and I hope you enjoyed and got a benefit from this lesson. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself, and bye-bye.